Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And, well, this is kind of an impromptu show here. I've been getting some pushback by people that love PPR. I'm not a PPR fan. You've probably heard me make comments every once in a while that PPR is the devil. I don't know if I've said that, but I hate PPR, and standard's the way to go. And people think like, oh, standard is the old school way, right, Jeff? That's what you hear. Standard is the old man's way to play fantasy football. And I don't agree, because my biggest thing in PPR is how can a catch that goes for -2 yards be worth points? It shouldn't be worth points, and I don't get it, and it should not be worth points. If somebody else is joining the show right here that is adamantly against standard and thinks that, again, it's the old dinosaur way to play fantasy football, but he can't even get his audio to connect. So that's really who's the dinosaur, who's the old man. It's not us. It's not me. So, Jeff, your thoughts, standard versus PPR?
I mean, I agree with you. I think standard is the way to go. It drives me crazy on the PPR side. And I understand if you have like an incredibly large league in order to create some sort of depth. But I think all you do is really, you make a larger gap between the really elite players and the kind of like the lower ones. And then on top of that, you're just gamifying it. It doesn't actually go towards anything that has, to do with football, which a lot of people might be fine with. It's a game in its own, but I 100% agree with your version of it. Like it should do something positive for the team, and you should be able to see that in the stats somehow so it's just kind of annoying to be able to, dink and dunk like 5 different passes, and all of a sudden you get 5 points when, a running back is, trying to rip off runs and it doesn't do him any good. So I think it just leads into more and more trying to figure out other statistical categories that you can give points to, because you want the scores to be larger. I mean, it's really what it comes down to.
Yeah. So. I don't get it. I just don't. I mean, I get you want more points. Cool. I don't think more points I think more points brings more randomness and more just, you got lucky that week, right? Your guy had 11 catches for 50 yards and he had no touchdowns and nothing else happened, but that's somehow good. He got 50 yards of actual action, which just isn't anything. What's that do? But in PPR, that's what? Full PPR, that's 16 points. And yet in standard, that's 5. But he didn't go anywhere with those 11 catches. Didn't go anywhere. How's that worth so much?
Yeah, and I realize this one's going to be a little redundant too, but I feel like you could even go to the place where, like, well, if the wide receiver is open and the QB overthrows him, a target should be worth 0.25 or something. Like, if they miss him, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you could have a bunch of targets in one game, and that doesn't actually go anywhere. I don't find that to be too much further from the truth than giving a whole point for something that doesn't lead to anything positive on the football field.
Right.
Or, carries or whatever it might be.
Honestly, I think point per first down, if anything, makes the most sense.
I actually would be okay with that one. I think that one is, and if
maybe not a full
you
point,
only
maybe
needed
point.
1 yard to get it,
Yeah.
I do think that moves the chains. That is a positive football play.
Yes, true. Like if it might have only needed 1 yard to get it, but that might be the only play that they wanted to get only 1 yard. They weren't looking for a 5-yard run. They were looking for a 1 yard run. That running back got the job done. Got that 1 yard. That's worth a little more in my mind.
Okay with that one. You could make that argument, and I would be okay with it.
Yeah, that to me actually makes sense. And I mean, I'd probably cap it at like a half point. But if you're looking for actual football stuff, if things that happen on the football field to matter, a first down matters so much more than a catch necessarily, because if the catch is enough yards, it's going to get the first down anyway. You're going to get that half point on a lot of catches, right?
Yes.
And so to me, that's the way to do it. You still get that point, that half point on, or whatever you want to do on those first down catches. You just eliminate the -1 bubble screen that went for -1 yards and somehow in full PPR gets 0.9 points. So like, how is that even a 1-yard catch? A 1-yard catch is equal to a 10-yard run.
Yeah, and honestly, if it is like, say it's 1st and 10 and it goes for 1 yard, the defense won that play. Like you didn't do anything special, right? And when we're on this rant too, might as well go into another one, is bonus points, which I don't. It angers me, honestly. Like, he goes over 100 yards and you get a certain amount of points for bonus. I know some people still do this. That one freaks me out because all it does is reward the good players. So if you don't have the top players, you just get absolutely buried. And also it turns it into kind of like a 100% like a have nots. And, you could make the argument that you're like, okay, well, players like Tyreek Hill or big players, even Mike Williams that we've been ragging on lately, like it makes them more valuable. And you have to think of a different strategy because you have to find these players that are going to go over 100 yards because that's a big one. But, I don't understand the 99 compared to 100 when you start doing that and giving, 5 points, 10 points for that. You're rewarding them for nothing once again. That doesn't necessarily help you in football. It doesn't necessarily help you. And I think that was garbage as well.
Yeah. I don't know. Standard. I mean, we seem to be in the minority these days. So many things are ESPN standard is PPR now. I think Yahoo's is half. It just seems to, and
Here's the other thing too. Like it feels like when it first came around, it kind of had more to do with running back versus wide receiver. Let's try to even these ones out. Dude, wide receivers don't need any help evening out the playing field. They're actually more durable. They don't get hurt nearly as much. They have the touchdown upside, and running backs are by committee now. So I don't see the point of that at all. I mean, if anything, it really just makes the top few running backs even more valuable because those are the only guys you can rely on. I honestly think it does a disservice to it. And now we'll see if JoJo, he'll definitely have a rant ready.
Well, I'll say you look at, okay, how is a running back that gets, let's say there's a one of those like James White type running backs. He gets 7 catches for 40 yards. It's nothing. They didn't do anything, but he has 11 points, and yet Derrick Henry runs for 105 and gets less points than James White. Come on.
Well, how hard is it to run for 100 yards in today's NFL? That's a joke, dude. James White can run for 100 yards too. Are you having the PPR debate right now?
We've been.
Why do you like
debate
PPR
because
more
we're
than
both
standard?
on the standard side. So
why do I like it more?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it's just more fun. Like we play fantasy for fun, right? And it's more fun. Come on, I mean,
okay.
I want to see what your listeners. I want like a poll put up because these degenerates, like they're just playing for fun too. Like they can't take it that serious. I mean, come on.
I 100% agree with the fun part, but is it more fun just because there's more points to look at?
No, I mean, I think it takes more. I mean, I was just kind of bullshitting, but it takes more skill. I think it is more fun, but like it puts more players in play.
Okay, it does put more players in play, but unless you have a really deep league, I mean, is it even worthwhile? Like you'd have to get past 12 teams, I feel like, in order for that to really make a difference.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue that. I think like the deeper leagues for sure would benefit from PPR, but I think even in like a 10 team league, I think PPR is still the way to go. I mean,
I just put up a poll on Instagram, so let's see what happens here. We get votes pretty quickly, so we'll see. Instagram.com/fantasyfootballprofit.
I'm generally curious. Like I was amazed to hear the anti-PPR hate.
I'm telling you, I mean, we have some anti-PPR people.
Like kickers, you're just I don't know.
Kickers, man. Kickers.
Okay,
kickers is another thing. Show.
This is gonna just go in a different route, but like kickers.
Justin Tucker's a 3rd round pick in fantasy, dude. 3rd round.
I love the kicker one because I agree. I could get behind even like PPR and deeper leagues. It adds to the strategy. Sure. Okay. I could maybe like understand the argument. Tell me how kickers, like how you can you pretty much try to grab a top 5 kicker and then you play him the entire year. I don't think that there is really that much strategy in kickers.
No, they're just fun too. Like there's nothing better than being like hammer drunk on Sunday night at like 9:30 and needing like I don't know, who's like a shitty kicker, like Robbie Gould to score like 11 points to win. There's nothing better. There's nothing better.
Just waiting for the team to get stopped around the 30.
Okay, I do understand that one, but isn't it incredibly annoying when one of these guys scores like 20 points because the rules are all off?
No, man, that's the fun of it though. Like again, like why are we playing fantasy, dude?
But
Like
you literally just said
money
strategy, and then we're talking about a kicker.
No one's making money here off fantasy. None of your listeners are making money off fantasy. They can't make money on Bed Bath & Beyond. That thing's mooning right now. They can't make money on shit. Like we're just talking about fun.
We have 11 votes so far. We have 11 quick votes.
Oh God, we're gonna get
PPR PPR has 11 of those votes.
Yeah,
it's 11. It's 11 to 0 right now, Jeff.
For PPR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew we were gonna get torched on this one.
It doesn't mean we're wrong. It just means we have the popular correct opinion, the unpopular correct opinion.
No, you just want some confirmation bias now, and you're like Googling internet articles in favor of standard and sending them to me all day. It's ridiculous.
I like that Craig is talking shit to Joe, and that's what started all this.
Listen, back to the kickers are more.
Why are we canceling people now? Like, why are we canceling kickers now from fantasy? Why are we canceling kickers, man?
Randomness. People don't like the randomness.
That's the whole point of it. Like, how easy are you trying to make it?
Should I put up a poll of like kickers or no kickers?
And once again, the kicker thing, I think that it all depends on the rules. I think that they should be minimized, like point wise, and you should definitely have, if you have like 5 points that they can get for a long field goal, you should definitely have like negatives as well if they miss. I agree. I think the rules are really big in that one, because I've seen it where it's like all you're doing is getting points and completely random, unless you find out that it's gonna be a windy day. Maybe there's a little bit of strategy there, but I don't think people change up kickers nearly enough unless they're on bye week. I think defenses, on the other hand, there is a lot to think about, and I think that is pretty fun. But
we're up to 38 votes. 38 votes so far. 35 votes for PPR and 3 for standard.
Maybe we should have threw half on there just so we're not so badly beaten.
I do agree. Half is probably the best. I do agree. I'll concede that. But PPR, I mean, like, I'm not just trying to like have a hot take, but he's done now for the most part. But like James White was like a great example. Like, and you would play James White over like shit. I mean, like Marshawn Lynch. I'm playing James White over Marshawn Lynch.
I'm only thinking of Marshawn because of his DUI today.
Yeah, I was also like, what year are we talking about?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm going back a few years, but I mean, like.
Also, no, you're not. You're not playing James White over Marshawn Lynch. Like,
yeah, I am for sure.
So you're gonna play JD McKissick over Antonio Gibson?
Well, okay.
Yes.
That's actually an interesting debate right there.
I actually don't like Antonio Gibson, so I don't know if
this is why PPR is better. Like, look, there's so much more strategy, even in a 10-team league. Standard is dude. It's like standard. It's missionary, man. It's missionary. You know what I mean?
We're up to 48 votes. 45 for PPR, 3 for standard. Thank you to the 3 people that voted for standard. And our kickers poll. Should kickers be removed from your fantasy league? We only have 8 votes so far. 2 say yes, 6 say no. So
exactly.
As of right now, Joe has the popular opinion.
Yeah, get rid of defenses too. Hell, tight ends. Why are we playing tight ends? Tight ends are terrible. Like, I'd rather have a kicker on my team than a tight end. Tight end is the worst position to draft.
I've seen some
tight ends. There's 3 good tight ends in the NFL.
I'm actually doing a draft for Andrew, and they have made their tight end position a tight end / wide receiver flex.
Oh, I don't like that.
No.
I'm drafting for him in a couple weeks.
No.
So
I feel like force them to play a tight end, and then if you want to have another flex position, that's fine. But I do think that category, I think that's more strategic if you're trying to find a tight end late, because you didn't want to put draft capital into it. No, right?
Honestly, in reality, I think the more strategic of fantasy football is probably a super flex where you could get 2 quarterbacks or not. So
yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that one too. Joe, I have a question for you. So if standard is the missionary of fantasy football, what is half PPR and what is full PPR? Lay it out for our listeners.
Full PPR is just like straight up doggy style. Like, it was cool for a minute, but now we're used to it. And it feels better. It's more fun. It's more fun. It's nothing too crazy. half PPR, probably like when you're both laying on your side.
We're gonna have to like.
Oh, Jeff, I was just gonna say we can't monetize this episode. We are.
It's worthwhile. I don't even care.
YouTube will not like us to monetize this episode for sure.
Well, Manscaped would.
We'll wait till the product arrives.
That is amazing, though. I think that we should have. First of all, I can't wait. We're possibly going to do a betting, like a sideshow betting kind of thing. We'll have JoJo on all the time. But I can't wait to get the analogies going for all this stuff. So we got missionary, side, and doggy. And if you put that on there, people are definitely PPR. It's gonna win in a landslide.
Oh, let's update the polls.
What platform are you guys working on? What do you mean you can't monetize it?
Oh, you can. YouTube doesn't like us to monetize certain stuff we talk about.
I'm sure we'd be fun on this one. But yeah,
YouTube?
just messing around.
Joe Rogan was on YouTube for years. He had Alex Jones on and shit.
It's true. PPR has 56 votes. Standard has 5.
It's wild.
The kickers.
They like to soak.
Let's see. Kickers. Do we have any votes? Oh, it's not as much of a landslide. So should we ban kickers from your fantasy league? 10 have said yes. 15 have said no. So it's a little closer. God,
I cannot believe that PPR is such a landslide.
There's a lot of amateurs out there, Jeff.
Dude, come on. Like, I mean, I guess you can, and that's the fun about sports and fantasy. You can debate all day, but I would argue that standard is like the amateur hour. I think
can't debate about this, Joe. That's a good team right there. So that's
the best team.
There, we all can agree on something.
I want to get your hot take on a few more things, actually, since we have you here.
I got like 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
What is your favorite type of draft setup?
I didn't know where you're going to go with that question.
Yeah, auction by far. I mean, the downfall is it takes like 3.5 hours, but auction by far.
All right, sweet. And who's the player you're loving the most right now?
Not Michael Pittman, apparently.
Yeah, actually, tell me if Michael Pittman is a good player, because I think that might actually be a hot take.
No, I mean, he was a potential keeper for me, and I did not keep him. I kept Jalen Waddle over him. I was going to keep T. Higgins over him. I think Michael Pittman is trash. I see him probably getting like between 90 and 100 catches, which is all right. Maybe like 500 yards and like 6 touchdowns.
You don't like Matt? You're not a fan of his quarterback?
Matt Ryan? What is this? Like 2011? He's the same age as Tom Brady, but he's not married to Giselle. He has no fountain of youth there. He's terrible.
Do you think Giselle is the fountain of youth?
Giselle, yeah. I mean, I don't want to. We're on YouTube, so. But
Tom Brady's PPR.
I think Giselle's vagina is probably Tom Brady's fountain of youth.
You know what's sad? We're saying how old Matt Ryan is. He is only 1 year older than us.
Yeah, and that's why we're not in the NFL. And we're
football years. That is what I can't believe that, but yeah.
No, Michael Pittman. No, I don't. No, why are we excited about Michael Pittman?
He's good.
Just up and coming young guy. I think a lot of people love him.
He's like a wide receiver. 23.
Okay, not to like him. If Pittman is the guy that you're going against fading on, who's the guy that you think is going to have the biggest breakout?
McCaffrey's coming back, dude. McCaffrey.
Okay.
I think people are sleeping on him. McCaffrey.
Would you draft him number 1 over Taylor?
Yes. In PPR also.
No, you wouldn't.
In PPR?
What?
Yeah, PPR, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, dude. I'm not drafting. Dude, I'm fading the Colts hard this year.
We're up.
If you're drafting Jonathan Taylor first, you're gonna not win your league.
Now that is a hot take.
Okay, at least tell me you dislike James Conner like I do.
Oh yeah, James Conner's terrible too.
There we go.
He'll be hurt. He'll be injured.
I do say if you draft James Conner, you will not win your fantasy league.
What do you think about Henry coming back from the injury?
He worries me too. I think
I don't know, man. I try to like I'm kind of like Max Kellerman. I try to like call the top on all these guys, but I think Derrick Henry as well. We could like see a very disappointing year with either injury or just straight up regression. I mean, he's not old, but he takes obviously a beating. I'm not excited. I mean, I would draft him like pretty high, but I'm not excited. He doesn't get it going for me at all.
You also don't like Elijah Mitchell and Travis Etienne. I see.
No, Mitchell's all right. Etienne, no, I'm fading him hard. Fade.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know what I can go off. He hasn't played in the NFL yet, so I like the potential.
I love DeAndre Swift. If Swift can stay healthy, he's going to be a beast.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. And yeah, and super excited. I haven't been able to watch it because my internet's been out, but I can't wait to watch Hard Knocks and get to see all that.
It's all right. It's pretty good.
I have to go watch it.
He's got a super hot sister.
What about his mom?
Yeah, I'm just not a big Hutchinson fan that much, but I mean his sister I am. But like he was talking down on people for going to other colleges and stuff. Typical Michigan fan.
There we go. Yeah. That's cool.
It's a good episode. It's about what you'd expect.
Typical Michigan stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
National champs. 1997 national champs.
Let's see what I have to put up with, Joe.
I gotta run. Do yourself a favor, listeners. Live bet the Minnesota Twins right now and BBBY to the moon. Let's go. All right. I'll see y'all.
Love you, buddy. Talk to you later.
All right. There we go.
Yeah.
We'll have more of Joe. We'll have more of Joe this season. I don't know how much more we can all take. No, that's good. But all right, there we go. We're getting slaughtered in the poll right now. It's ugly. It's ugly. It's even worse than I expected, Jeff. It is. Well, before we end this thing, let me see one last poll update. It is 91 votes PPR, 6 for standard.
What?
The kickers are: would you ban kickers? 25 say yes, 38 say no.
I think that's about appropriate. Closer. I cannot believe that.
It is a PPR such a landslide.
Yeah.
But all right, there we go. That'll do it for today. Talk to you guys next time.